Good Tuesday morning to you. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich. This is your outlook for February 4th, 2014, and we're going to do a quick review of the radar over the past 24 hours, and this is with the winter storm that hit a good portion of our area here during the day on Monday, and had some very, very impressive snow totals. Some areas that overperformed a little bit more than we thought, but hey, some of the snow lovers in here are very happy as a result. We'll put this in motion here, and you can see a lot of these areas start off in marginal temperatures, but as the heavier snow started falling, it started cooling the column and it started reaching the ground and changed everything over to snow. It took a while here down by I-95, so there was less snow that fell there, but there was a long duration storm, and took place over a course of almost 12 hours. So as this, you see this green here, this is actually indicating rain at first, and then it went over to like I said, the column cooled, allowed that snow to reach the ground. We had some very heavy snow here along the thermal grading that's set up just to the northwest of Philadelphia. So we actually had our best areas for the heavy snow were probably from around the Lehigh Valley all the way down into this area here, where we had some 9 to 10 inch amounts that were falling. Reports in this area, I know Allentown at 9.3 inches. This is actually their biggest snowfall of the year, and some other areas in and around this area were all plenty of reports of 8, 9, some even 10 inch reports in this area here. So very quick moving system, but it was a lot of people got a lot of snow out of this, and a lot more than they expected, and I am one of them. So I was out there shoveling with you, unfortunately. We got going to look over to the GFS now. Now we're going to move ahead to the next storm, and this is going to be 36 hours after the completion of one. We're going to have another one moving in and right on its heels, and this one's going to be a little bit trickier as far as the forecast is concerned. We did go aggressive with this storm on snowfall, and it's not currently modeled exactly the way we have it on our snow map, and the reason why we think there's going to be a colder trend as we get a little bit closer to the storm here. That's been the case the entire winter, where you had cold air in place with the snow that's on the ground here, fresh snowpack here, and cold air filtering into this system. We do think this is going to start off as snow here. The GFS is indicating that in this area here, probably a really good thump of snow on the front end here. Some really good forcing. We're at the entrance of a jet streak here. Jet streak's actually going to be kind of coming in like this, and we're going to be in the right rear quadrant of the jet streak, and so we think there's going to be some added lift and instability in this area, which will increase totals as well. So we're looking at a overperforming snow before you go over to any freezing rain and sleet, and we do think this will be presenting a forecast problem for us, because whenever you have a system that's cutting to our west, it usually spells warm air. But what we think is going to happen here is you're going to have a primary that's sitting up right here, and if this primary held on too long, you would have this sleet and freezing rain that's shown here on the GFS moving a little bit quicker, while heavy snow is continuing to the north here. But what we think is going to happen is this low pressure is actually going to transfer its energy to another low pressure offshore, and the latest GFS does not have that happening as quickly, and therefore you're getting more freezing rain in here. The trend is up until today has been to bring everything a little bit colder. Everything's been trending colder, and there's no reason to believe that won't happen. If this does transfer to a secondary, we do think this remains more snow up here once the secondary takes over. So, if you don't want to deal with the icing, the freezing rain, and the sleet, obviously that's the more dangerous part of a storm, and you'd rather have snow in that situation. Just cheer on that transfer of energy from the primary to the secondary, and then we'll have less to deal with. Still, areas that are probably running around I-78 and points north are going to remain freezing probably for this entire event, and then once the precipitation moves out, temperatures might creep up to 33, 34 in those areas, but there's no precipitation left at that point as this low pressure consolidates. See, it does transfer eventually, but it has it transferring too late. The latest run of the GFS, and then it becomes one consolidated low pressure that heads out to sea like this. Gives a good snowstorm up here into interior New England as before that moves away as well. So we want to be very aggressive with these totals. We have 6 to 10 or higher, 6 to 10 or higher for an area that's kind of like this, and areas north of there. That's 6 to 10 inches or higher. So that'll include the Lehigh Valley, down to just north of Reading, over to Harrisburg and Lebanon County. And then we have another area that's just to the north of that. This is going to be an 8 to 12 inch range up here. And that's over in northeast PA, where we think we remain all, if not, mostly, if not all, snow from this system. And we're expecting this to come in probably around midnight on Tuesday night, and it's going to be lasting into the day on Wednesday, changing to freezing rain in southern areas at some point. But we do think areas to the further to the south, it just got some snow down here by Philadelphia areas. Their marginal last time will be rain, and we're not looking at any precipitation down in this area, except for some snow to start, we think, in and around the Philadelphia area and just to the northwest. But I think I-95 and points southeast are probably out of the game for anything as far as frozen precipitation is concerned. Okay, we're going to go over to the NAM high res, and this is the most recent run that ran at 0Z, and you can see the snow totals here are quite impressive for the northern areas, but they're not quite as far south as we have it. Of course, we have it getting all the way down into this area here. This is probably a good cutoff for where we have our snow map on the weather alert maps page. This is filled in a little bit more down here. We're a little more aggressive down in these areas here too, where the NAM is not as aggressive, has more like a 3 to 6 in this area here. I can tell you that on our map here, again, we have our 6 to 10 or higher range kind of runs like this. So, I mean, it's pretty aggressive and pretty far south. The NAM did come a little bit colder, but still not quite in line with what we have for our second call that we made. We do have to make adjustments for our final call that will be out at 7 p.m. this evening, so look for that. And right now we are pretty confident in our totals. We do want to take a look at the system that everybody's asking about for the weekend. The GFS is really ramping this thing up here. So is the European model. I cannot show you the European model, but the European model does something very similar and brings very, very heavy snow for this area here especially. So both models are both showing a very big storm for the Sunday, Monday time frame. The Euro is actually a little bit quicker with it, brings it in as early as Saturday night, and actually I think that's the favored solution. GFS really ramps this thing up and takes it up like this. The Euro's a little bit further east with it. Not much, but it's a little bit further east and just enough with it. Not quite as amped as the GFS is, that we keep the heavy snow from eastern PA into pretty much most of New Jersey. So, depending on what track we take here, we got a lot of time to look at that storm. We could be dealing with a lot of snow up in this area once again, and we're not talking about a blizzard necessarily, because I don't think it's going to meet the wind criteria, at least what the models that we're looking at right now, to make it a blizzard. But it's definitely a nor'easter by definition. So we will take a look at this over the next couple days also, in addition to the one we're going to be dealing with Tuesday night and Wednesday. And we'll probably get really hammering into it and concentrating it a lot more once this storm passes, and that'll be beginning Wednesday evening. But right now we have this storm in the short term that we're dealing with, and that's the Tuesday night, Wednesday system, and we'll be handling that on the Facebook page. And you can follow that for rapid updates at any time during the day. I am Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for February 4th, 2014. Have a great Tuesday.